Alright, this is going to be a fun video. I was sitting around thinking, how many lenses have I used on my Pentax system? I've used a ton. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you can see all the reviews. Just go to my channel and type Pentax, do a search, and you'll see all the reviews I have on various Pentax lenses and such. But yeah, I've used a ton of lenses, and I was thinking, what's my top 10? And I started writing down what my top 10 were, and it actually ended up being 15. I was like, oh, no, don't go farther than 15. So I'm going to go through those today. Let you know a little bit, if you haven't watched my channel, I'm a landscape and wildlife shooter is what I shoot mostly. I don't do a lot of portraits. I don't do a lot of weddings or anything like that. So that's kind of the list you'll see as I go through. How I'm going through this list, how I'm rating them, as far its IQ, you know, the sharpness, the color, the contrast, kind of the overall image quality coming out, and operation, just the size, the weight, and how it feels in my hand, and a little bit of autofocus and whatnot. And then lastly, just the cost. How much does it cost to have all that greatness in whatever lens I'm talking about? So and you might not agree with this. There's some lenses I hadn't used on the Pentax system. I'll go through those at the end that might have made it on this list. But yeah, in the comments below, maybe write down your top 5 and maybe say why. It would be nice to hear from you folks. So, all right, number 15. I'll kind of just do a screenshot here of on B&H where you could buy them if you want. A lot of these lenses, these are new prices. You could get them used a little bit cheaper off eBay, or I hadn't tried Pentax forums buying stuff off those. I know a lot of people do. I'm going to have to do a video, buy a couple lenses off there, and kind of talk about my experience on that. I'll do that in the future. But number 15, the Rokinon 14mm f2.8. The reason I wrote this down is it will work on crop sensor cameras, but mainly when I use it on the K1, I really enjoyed it. It's a awesome lens. It is manual focus, but it's very sharp, and the colors on this lens are very nice. It does have a little bit of weight to it, but it's around $300. Well, here's what it is on B&H right now currently. Really stellar lens. If you have a K1 and you're looking for like an ultra wide angle lens, I recommend this. It is manual focus, but that's fine. These super wide angle lenses are fine with manual focus. Number 14. This one's an oldie goodie, but goodie. I had to put a 50mm prime on here, didn't I? So the one I chose, even though I've tried so many over the years, this Pentax-A 50mm f1.7 old film lens, manual focus, but it's small, it's light, I like it better than the f1.4. I think it's a little sharper. I just like it overall. It's just a better lens to me. And plus you can get this for like crazy cheap, like 40 or 50 bucks off eBay. So go out there and buy it and just try it. Next one, number 13. A lot of people are going to disagree with this one, but it's the Tamron 70 to 300 f4 to f5.6. Now this is you can get this for around 60-80 bucks used on eBay. It's plastic, it's light, it's the one I recommend for anybody that's on any system that's looking for a telephoto lens, a beginner and even intermediate, and looking just for a lens on a budget. It's an excellent lens. It's not completely sharp at 300mm. You could figure out how to work around that. Just maybe go down to 250, or maybe just up your aperture a little bit. And it also has a very cool feature. That's why I like this lens, that lens a lot. It's got a macro feature on it where you could get not a complete macro, but you could get some really cool macro shots with it. Number 12. This would be an upgrade to your kit lens. This is the 16 to 45 f4 lens, f4 throughout the focal range. You could get this bad boy used for around $100. It's very compact, light, and it's fun to use. It's a little sharper than your kit lens. It goes a little bit wider. You're saying 18, 16. Oh, that 16 is a lot wider than you would think, considering 16, 18 is only 2mm, but it is, and it's a nice lens with that f4 throughout the focal range, and nice sharp lens. Number 11. This is the 18 to 35. It's weather resistant, so it's a nice lens. If you're looking for something with a long focal range, this will have you. You've got wide at 18 all the way up to 135. Images are sharp. It does have the variable aperture when you're going throughout. I think it's 3.5 to 5.6, and used you can get around $180. So it is a very good lens. A lot of people recommend that, and once I got it in my hands, I tried it and I understood why people recommended it so much. It's a very nice lens. Number 10, that would be the 16 to 55 f2.8 DA Star lens. This one is great. It's just a little big, but this is probably the best lens for color. The color on this lens just pops really well. I recommend this lens. There's going to be a couple of those that are kind of like this one, is upgrade to your kit lens, but it is really pricey, so I'll put it down at number 10. And that's why I put this next lens above it. At number 9, we've got the 17 to 70 f4. That's f4 throughout the focal range. So it's a little bit lighter weight, and it costs a lot less than the 16 to 55. So you can get this used for under $200, so something to think about. And it's a great upgrade to your kit lens, and you'll get a little bit longer on the telephoto side, all the way up to 70 millimeter. And this next lens is really cool. Number 8, this is the 40 millimeter limited pancake type f2.8, very small lens. I love this lens. This is a great addition to another lens I'll go over later. You can put this lens in your pocket and just have it with any other lens. It's just a very, very nice lens, very sharp, and it's got that limited, everything just pops with those limited series lenses. It's really nice. And number seven, well, it's like, this is like 3 lenses. If you have a K1, you need to get one of these lenses. They don't make them anymore, but whatever one I've tried them all, whichever one millimeter you think you would like, the Sigma 20 millimeter, 24 millimeter, or 28 millimeter f1.8. Now these are wide angle lenses at f1.8, so if you're an astrophotographer, these would be great. If you're doing concerts or something like that, the lens would be great. It's got a very large focus ring on it, and you can get extremely the closeness. You can get very close with this lens as well. Close focusing. Sorry. But yeah, it's hard to find. Occasionally you'll find one pop up used on eBay. They don't make it anymore, so if you find it, buy it. Especially for the K1, you'll fall in love with those lenses, whatever millimeter you want. Number 6, this one is a really good lens. I liked it, enjoyed it a lot. I've thought about buying it again a few times. Is the 50 millimeter to 135 millimeter f2.8, the DA Star lens. It's a DA Star, so it's got the extra pop and color. Everything really sticks out. A really nice lens. It's not too heavy, and it's kind of cool because it's basically a 70 to 200 millimeter. So it would be this. Even though I said I don't do weddings, this would be great for wedding photographers if you're out there. Number 5. This was I always love prime lenses because they're a little bit sharper. A lot of times they go down a little bit lower in your f-stop. The Pentax 200 millimeter f2.8 DA Star lens. This is a very nice lens. I might even put it up a little bit higher. If Pentax had a 400 millimeter, that would be a nice prime 400 millimeter prime lens. I'm waiting on them to make it. Please make it. It would be a nice addition. I don't like zooms too much. I'd rather have like a 200 and a 400 and just switch them out as needed. But it's a really nice lens. It would be great for portraits, great for some wildlife. It's not too telephoto, but image quality on this is outstanding. All right, number 4. A lot of people are going to disagree on this one. This is the Tamron. It's a macro lens, 90 millimeter f2.8. Yep, I've rated it better than the Pentax macro lenses. If you've watched some of my macro videos before, I always say all macro videos or macro lenses are sharp. So when I'm kind of judging a macro lens, it all comes down to how it feels in my hand a lot of times, and just the overall use of the lens and the cost. You get this used for about $200, a really nice lens. I've used this not only on Pentax but on Canon. I've owned that lens several times. I always sell it and then end up buying it back, like now when it's cold outside and there's nothing cool to shoot, no bugs or flowers or anything like that. I'll sell it because I know I'm not going to use it for 5 months, and then in the spring I'll like, why did I sell that lens? And I'll end up buying it again. So, and I don't have it now, so I'll be buying it in the spring, I'm sure. Okay, so that's why, the focus on this, just let me say, was a lot better than the Pentax 100mm. That thing searched quite a bit more autofocus than this Tamron, and it stuck out a little bit further. I think I don't know if I did a review and if I said that in the review, but anyway, I just like that Tamron 90mm, and you could use that on your K1 as well. It is a full frame lens. Number 3. This is we're getting up here into the awesome lenses. The Sigma Art Series 35mm f1.4. If you have a K1, you need this lens. It is outstanding sharpness, this color and everything on this thing. It really makes all your images pop, and I love that, like 35mm focal range on a full frame camera. It's just perfect. Buy that lens. It is a little bit heavy, and your K1's already a little bit heavy, so it does add a little bit of weight to it. All right, let's go now. Number 2, Pentax 300mm f4 DA star lens. It's awesome. It doesn't weigh too much, and it's kind of compact. It's not too big, and it's super. You can use it on the K1, even though it's a crop sensor, manufactured for crop sensor cameras, and it works great. So it's just sharp, all the colors, just boom, crisp, everything just about that lens is awesome. Now, can you guess what number 1 is? Take a drink. Cheers. If you've watched my videos before, you might know this because I've always recommended this lens and I love it. I don't have it now, but I'm going to buy it again. It is, and this is, like I said before, I am a prime guy, so most of these lenses you see in here are primes, but it is the 20mm to 40mm f2.8 to f4 limited lens. This thing is fantastic. It's one of those lenses that you take a shot and you put it in your editor and you're like, I don't need to do anything. This lens is just there. The sharpness, the color, the contrast, everything just pops. And even though it's not f2.8 throughout, it doesn't bother me. And just the handling on this, it's got that old school kind of body on it, and the zoom is just great. It feels great in your hands. It's not too heavy. It's just an excellent all-around everyday lens. Just superb. So that's my number 1 lens. Thanks for watching, and let me do some just ones that didn't make the list. I thought about adding them. The 10 to 17, that wide-angle fisheye lens, and there's a ton of 50s, so I just put one in here. That's my favorite one. Some older lenses like the 135 f2.5, it's a great lens. I didn't put it on here. And some of the lenses that I hadn't tried yet, but I want to try, are the 21 millimeter limited and a 31mm limited. Everybody talks really good things about the 31mm limited. I haven't tried the 16 to 85 yet. I don't think that would make the list, but I'd like to try it. And the telephoto PMO, whatever it is, the one with the cool focus on it. I want to try that one out. So those are some of the ones that didn't make my list, and I didn't put the 77 or the 43 on there just because they don't really interest me that much. I don't shoot at 50mm quite that often, so they just kind of didn't interest me as much as some of the other lenses. But I've tried, like I said, tons of other lenses that aren't on the list. Write your top 5 in the comments below, and just say briefly why you enjoy those lenses. And yeah, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click on my channel, or go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't. But you could click on my channel, and almost all of those lenses that I listed, I have reviews on them, so you could just check those out. Yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.